It had been so long, but he couldn't forget their look, the tattoo on their neck, and specifically their haircut that seems to be an organized mafia, as they shot people dead in front of him. They shot people without any rumors and made him watch. It was so for so many months. After he came back, and still those people who haunted him. They called him, but that was not his name. I know it wasn't his name. It's something in Russian. He breathed out. He didn't say anything for so long, and they cried in silence. He had gone through so much for no reason. He didn't deserve that. Do you have any idea why they did this? One of the officers would ask him, and Jungkook guys were at the. But they were not so hard. They waited his eyes and waited for him to clarify the reason why he was in the hospital today. They didn't want me to marry Taehyung. They want his father dead, he whispered, as if trying for they not to listen. They looked at him and then at Jungkook, seeing if any of them were blamed him. But no one paid they any heed. Jungkook from was tense, and Jungkook was frightened as he still clenched his hand, and they were shaking for no so many emotions. What had happened? They were against him. They wanted him dead. He was in danger, not me. He confessed. The officer wrote everything as Jungkook spoke. Did they mention anything about their strange revenge plan? One of them were asked, and Jungkook clapped and closed his eyes. Not really, but I heard mentioning that Mr. Kim ruined his life. He always had on one thing. I want his hat. I know nothing else. Taehyung's legs were shook as he thought it was better if he just sat down. His head was spinning with all that information, and he needed comfort. What had his father done with those people? Why was the whole mafia against him? Wouldn't they have killed him if he really wanted it? He doesn't have more than 2 cards with him. What we have collected? Officer interrogated, and Jungkook looked at him in confusion and with the form, but answer him. I don't know. All I can say is that the young family is the target. They didn't want me to marry him because that first provide him more security by becoming a John. But he married Jungkook, and that arranged them. They abused me after that, he said painfully. They thought about everything as his headache became the form, and he said he was in danger, and that meant dragging Jungkook along with him. Even if he didn't care or whatever, they couldn't just painfully go and throw him in front of guns. He was a human, his husband, and he loved him. If one brother was safe and protected, they drag another into danger. If those people were dangerous, they wouldn't do anything to get him and his family. They gathered his head in his head and massaged it lightly. Their life was so peaceful a few days ago. The attack on Jungkook was not to kill him. They heard Jungkook mention that stitches on Jungkook's head. They just wanted to be aware of everyone. He couldn't telling him everything bravely, as brave as he could get after getting attacked by mafia. And after some time, the doctor entered the room and told police officer that the patient needed rest and made him leave. Jungkook talked to Jungkook for some time, telling him that he would protect him just like he had done it. When he fell asleep, Jungkook noticed they sitting on the couch quietly. He lifted his head and saw him walking toward him. No, in front of Tae and grabbed his hand. I'm so sorry, Tae, he said softly. Taehyung featured into a form, and he stared continuously at him. How was he apologized? They had not forgotten about the word he said to Tae, but he hardly believed that he would apologize for that. For what? They whispered, removing his gaze for their striking blue eyes. Everything. They lifted his eyes and looked at him in his eyes. From the look on his face, he understood what he was feeling, what he was talking about. Any other time they would have been angry at him, yell at him, or maybe slap him. But not now. Not today. It wasn't because of they had hate before. It was because he was sorry too, for everything. So they looked up at his lap and twice he slipped inside his mouth. And a cry. It was all so messed up, and they was over the period of their life when he threw about how it had been to look at Jungkook. They cared about him, feel his pain, and feel guilty for what happened to him. But they didn't notice one thing. What if, with him and Jungkook together as a couple, he had obviously fallen in love with Jungkook because he was over Jungkook. He's his husband. He deserved every ounce of feeling that he had. No Jungkook, because after whatever happened, he couldn't go back in his heart because it was already consumed by Jungkook. They cared deeply for him, and he would apologize to him over and over again, being cause of their current state. But still he couldn't find a ounce of love with his heart, and he guessed that he felt the same way because he had not been tried anything rash with thee, or even desperately tried to confess his love with him. He might have some feeling left for him, but they couldn't say that it was love. Love was wiped away between them, and Jungkook had slowly slipped it, taking his heart. Me too. They met his gate with teary eyes, and Jungkook looked at clues of tears in his face, as if he swallowed something painfully. There was no word sharing between them anymore, because both of them understood each other. They know what they both felt. For the first time in his life, Jungkook didn't feel like talking Jungkook place in Taehyung's life. Even after he was informed that he still thought that he would work hard to gain a sort of affection for his wife and even do anything to win their relationship now. He was so that Jungkook being in pain when they all cursed him to hell and begged him regretting married Thee was never the part of their guilt. He gazed at Thee once more and sat down on the couch beside him. Both left their own thought. Look at his brother. Another lump for grew in his thought. He didn't want to think about only if and what if the shut off his mind, close his eyes, and rest his head back against the couch. Softly mumbled, "You should rest thee. Hun will take you home." He didn't hear the reply for so long, but he heard rustling after some time and peeked through his eyes open. The back was him, and he stared at his brother at this time. He didn't mind it. "Good night," he whispered in silence and walked out of the room. He had instructed the driver and bodyguard to set them home, and he had not worried about his safety now. He knew they would take him home, safe and sound. The bedsheet on Jungkook's side was crumpled up, and they walked up. He think that he didn't come home last night and sleep just by his side. Now his mind was little relaxed. The anger and hurt come with full force, and they just shrieked in the pillow. Why did he say that to Sofia? Those thoughts were once again driving him crazy. As he got ready for the university, they had planned it all. He won't go to university, then go to see Jungkook in hospital. He was busy when he saw their arms were being grabbed, and he turned around. He gasped and stared at this sign in annoyance and glared at Jungkook. "What?" They sipped at him. Jungkook folded his arm over his chest. He was all dressed up in black suit and hair perfectly combed back. Where he was had been getting dressed, he was glaring right back. And they, what did he want now? "You're going to tell me right now what is bothering you," he said, demanded, and folded his arm like a freaking owner the place. Well, he did. They turned away from now. Nothing. The greatest state leaving me alone. He should have left office already and stopped bothering him. They didn't want to stand there and listen to his stupid nonsense. Then why? Why you are acting like that? He grabbed their hand once again, and they just pulled it from his grip. "Nothing is wrong. Will you please stop interrupting?" The tone was clipped, and I know it was pushing his button. "Deal with it now," he said. I guess I'm a human, not some robot that could read your thought. If you won't tell me, how am I supposed to know about the problem?" He asked coldly. They snapped. "I don't want to tell you. Then how am I supposed to fix it?"